Hello students, welcome to 1 PYQ a day series of law optional. Here we pick up one previous year question of the law optional and try to decode that question. This is for your better understanding of how to write answers and gain maximum marks in the law optional. So let's start with the question. Now this question has been asked in 2025 and it's a 10 marker question, and this question is particularly asking about the debate which has been going on around Article 21 of the Indian Constitution from a very long time. Now, what does Article 21 of the Indian Constitution says? It says right to life and personal liberty. What is the interpretation of the meaning of the word life? Now, it has been interpreted by the Supreme Court in a very broader manner. It's not the narrow interpretation which was accepted earlier in the early years of the independence of the country and the commencement of the Constitution. So, life here means human existence. It's not only animal existence but human existence, and for human existence you require several things. Roti, kapda, makan, this clothing, shelter and livelihood is required. Along with it, there are many things which are surrounding the life of a human being which is very important, such as environment, such as right to privacy and many other things. But the basic debate has been going on from a very long time related to life and death. Right to life includes right to die or not. If you look at Article 19 of the Indian Constitution, it says you have the right, the fundamental right, the freedom of speech. So you can speak, you can tell your opinion, you can express, but at the same time, you also have the right not to speak. So can we apply the same logic to Article 21 also? Right to life or right to die? Are they the same thing? If you have right to life, do you also have right to die? Now, this thing has been decided by several, judgments of the Supreme Court, and the question is also asking about the judgment. So, let us once read the question, what the question says. If Article 21 confers on a person the right to live a dignified life. Now, this is important. Right to live a dignified life, does it also include a right not to live? This is the question. Not to live. And there are several Supreme Court cases we are going to discuss now. So question further is asking, examine the constitutional provisions with the help of decided case law. So the first thing, this suicide thing started, the debate around it started in 1994. So P. Rathinam case is there. In P. Rathinam case, Supreme Court has P. Rathinam versus Union of India. Supreme Court has interpreted Article 21, and this is a 1994 case, let me tell you. Has interpreted the Indian Constitution just like how Article 19 is interpreted. That means if you have right to life, you also have right to die. The fate is in your hand. Your destiny is in your hand. You want to die, you can die. Just like right to speak, you also have right to not to speak. Similarly, right to life also includes right to die. But this was overturned very quickly in 1996 by Gyan Gaur case. This was versus state of Punjab. This was 1996. And in 1996, the Supreme Court came up with a different interpretation, saying that Article 21 of the Indian Constitution is for the protection of life, not for the destruction or extinction of life. So, you do have right to life, you do have right to die with dignity, but you do not have right to die. Now, this is very important, which you must understand. There is no right to die. You just cannot go and commit suicide. That's not a right. You cannot say it's my fundamental right. So, the position of the Supreme Court has changed within 2 years. And this is very important. Supreme Court has the ability to change its own judgments with time, with changing society, and that is very much important, isn't it? So, from here, where the Supreme Court has interpreted Article 21 as right to life also includes right to die, now it says that you do not have a right to die. Also, it says that you do have right to dignified death. The procedure for a dignified death, that is okay, that is allowed, but right to die cannot be considered as a fundamental right, because Article 21 of the Indian Constitution is for the protection and not for the extinction or destruction of life. This is something which we must understand. Then in 2011, Another case came up. Aruna Shabang case. Now, according to this case in 2011, this position of the Supreme Court was further expanded. So, what does Aruna Shanbag case says? It has came up with two very important things. One is active euthanasia and the other one is passive euthanasia. Now, active euthanasia is taking some kind of lethal injection when you are in a terminally ill stage or a vegetative stage, where there is no hope for you to bounce back in life, and you have been there. This Aruna Shambag, she was a nurse and she was there in hospital in a vegetative state for about 37 constant years. Now for 37 years, think about the situation of a person. The person is in vegetative state. The person is unable to move, but she is not brain dead. The brain is working, but she is unable to move. She is unable to respond in a vegetative, terminally ill stage of coma for 37 years. So the petition approached the Supreme Court whether the right to die is included in the fundamental right, where right to die is allowed or not. What to do with people who are in the vegetative state for a very long time. So this Aruna Shambag case in 2011, the Supreme Court decided and expanded its interpretation by saying that passive euthanasia will be allowed and active euthanasia will not be allowed. Active euthanasia is just coming up and taking the injection, lethal injection for death. Now that is not allowed, but passive euthanasia, where the life support of a person in a vegetative state is removed, that will be allowed. Now it's a very good, a balance between right to life and on the other hand, a person who is suffering from some terminally ill disease and unable to move and in persistent coma for years. Some kind of dignified death can be given to the person through passive euthanasia by allowing to remove the life support of a person so that the person can die in dignity. Then another case comes up, another case of 2018. This is a very important case, common cause case. Common cause versus Union of India case. This is a very important case where the Supreme Court has expanded the horizon of this particular debate further on. So it has started from 1994, okay, where the right to life and right to death both were included, where the Supreme Court changed its position in 1996 by not including right to death. Okay, then it has also spoken about right to dignified death. Here passive euthanasia was allowed, and in the common cause case, right to dignified death was declared as a fundamental right. So right to dignified death is declared as the fundamental right under Article 21 of the Indian Constitution by the Supreme Court of the country. So these are the few cases, 4 important cases which are very important with relation to right to life and right to death. This old debate which has been taking place from a very long time and has also been asked by UPSC in one of its law optional question is something which we must all learn about. So that is it from my side. Thank you very much for joining me here. Have a nice day and Jai Hind.